Well, greetings again, everyone. This is me, Nick Michalak, and the awesome Steve Frazier.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
And we are doing the second film in the Conjuring franchise, the main one anyway. The Conjuring 2 today, guys, and then hopefully you'll join us and turn your subtitles to get your timestamp over to 0 to join us for this whole thing, and hopefully you enjoy what we have to say about James Wan's second entry in the franchise.
Yep.
So, in 3, 2, 1, play.
This is legit the second one, right? Like, there was not the Nun or Annabelle or all that shit. All happened.
They might have done Annabelle. It was like a 3-year gap, so I think they did Annabelle already.
Really? Annabelle was before this?
I think so.
Oh, that really
Maybe.
upsets me.
Give me a second.
A great New Line logo there. They don't have the music score like they did back in the 80s. It was wonderful. That beautiful orchestrated na 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 na.
Annabelle was 2014, so it came out about a year after the first Conjuring.
That's shitty. We're also doing them out of order then, I guess.
Oh, I figure we'll do the main ones and
then maybe offshoot.
We'll see. I've never seen any of them, so. But of course they got to open this one with fucking Amityville.
Well, that's fine. Amityville's fine. I like Amityville. I like the remake, actually.
Okay. I've only seen the original, and it's not all that good.
I don't mind it. It's not great, but
it's a whole complicated thing because the fucking family who report all the fucking supernatural haunting stuff,
right?
They're kind of full of shit.
Probably.
It's been shot down.
My mom had that chair, that wicker chair.
I mean, it's had so many people go and deconstruct the whole thing to like almost no one believes it anymore. And like
the Lutz family, right?
The Lutz family. I'm trying, because I kept hitting DeFeo, which was the name of the guy who killed the murder. The murders happened.
Right.
There's no doubt that happened. The guy got convicted. He's passed away now. He died in prison. Had like 6 25-year life sentences put to him, so he wasn't going nowhere. But the whole thing with this, the haunting stuff, it's been largely deemed a hoax. The more bizarre part is the fact that they keep making films and sticking Amityville on it like it matters for the shit anymore. There's like 30 films out there with that name Amityville slapped on because Amityville Horror is copyrighted. Amityville is just the name of town. You can slap it on there. There's no copyright. You can call anything Amityville.
Right.
And no one does anything about it. And they're just all over the place like it matters with the damn.
Not to be confused with Amity, Long Island, where... Not Long Island, where Jaws...
Amity Island, yes.
Right. Different.
Amityville was on Long Island
right.
in New York. Amity Island is Jaws.
Which is fake.
Yeah, it was, I think it's maybe one like the first like 3 films are the only ones that are like owned kind of in succession, were like owned by like United Artists or something like that, and everything else just kind of shot out in different directions and did whatever the fuck they wanted to do. And they all get increasingly more ridiculous. But the thing is, like, okay, James Wan wants to do this kind. If you're not watching a trailer or anything, you just go into it cold like you typically like to do.
Yep. I hate trailers.
If you're walking in, it's like, okay, James Wan wants to do an Amityville film as a Conjuring film. Okay, after he did the first one, that feels like he can definitely usurp it to a degree.
So it's not that this is an Amityville film.
No.
He's using the Amityville... Now,
as a stepping stone towards a larger mythology.
The paranormal investigation of Amityville was real also.
Yeah, they were involved the whole thing. It just, there's a lot of just people just don't believe it because there's too many contradictions from different stories. The book that was published has been republished with parts of it rewritten with different pieces of facts changed over and over again.
Wow.
I was reading all this stuff. It's like, they almost shoot the holes in it themselves. Not to throw a pun in the scene, but... I mean, this is probably more effective than most of the freaking Amityville films that they made.
I would agree.
This whole sequence.
Now, this is the part of the movie that I don't love, where she's able to, like, get in the mind of whoever.
Right, just kind of...
like she has not a premonition, but she almost
psychic sort of
link. Yeah.
Astral projection deal.
Right. She'll be mute in the children's ward screaming, writing with crayons here in a minute.
Yes.
Like, those shots are fantastic.
Oh, yeah. The craftsmanship is stellar. I was like, okay, you're going to throw Amityville. I mean, this whole franchise is built on the marketing gimmick, like, it's all based on a true story. It's,
right.
It's a lot of elaboration and just, like, just push that to the side. Just don't go into that, because it's a whole other bag of worms. You don't even want to deal with it. Just watch. It's a film to watch and be entertained by. Just deal with that. This isn't a biopic. This isn't
right. Well,
whatever you want to throw at
based
it.
on a true story.
It's not Frost Nixon or something.
Well, that's a great movie.
Let's
by the way,
something out that's historical and somewhat probably revered as.
Frost Nixon's wonderful.
In the remote region of factual.
Yeah, the based on a true story verbage can really...
Fast and loose.
Well, right, you can play fast and loose, but it also can save your ass. There's kind of a very famous story that's happening in real time right now as we record this, based on the Netflix hit series Baby Reindeer. Are you familiar with this?
I have no clue.
All right, well, the Baby Reindeer show is created and stars a man who was the victim of stalking, but it made a whole bunch of bad decisions and whatever. But then he created this show about his own life.
Okay.
And then kind of fictionalized all the other players a little bit, but not enough to where people couldn't figure out who they were. And,
sure, yeah.
And at the beginning of the... Look at this nun. This is unbelievable. At the beginning of the Baby Reindeer show, that's unbelievably scary. So scary. It starts off with saying, this is a true story.
Okay.
And the lady who was the stalker is now suing Netflix for like $150 million.
Okay.
Because it's not based on a true story. They claimed it is a true story. And like this could...
Defamation.
This could lead to like a complete game-changing overhaul.
Yeah.
A precedent of the true story verbiage. Like, people are theorizing that the beginnings of movies will have entire paragraphs of what the differences are. You know what I mean? Like, to cover their asses. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
That's not far from what happened with the movie The Crush back in the 90s. Like,
okay.
The screenwriter based a lot of the stuff on real things that happened, but didn't change the name of the girl that it happened with. And then they got sued for it, and all the subsequent home video and all the other versions had to redub the line of the character throughout the entire movie.
Unbelievable.
And they didn't bring back the original actors, so they're all like questionable dubs. So I like my Laserdisc because it has the original audio track.
That's awesome. All right, well, we've talked over the whole front of this movie, where, I don't know, like, are they claiming that the Warrens became famous because of Amityville?
Well, it got so much press. I mean, the parents of the whole thing, they were on Carson. They're on the Tonight Show.
Wow.
Doing interviews. This annoys me.
What?
London Calling didn't come out until after the point where the film is set.
Oh, okay.
That annoys me. It came out like 2 years after where the film is set. And it's such a goddamn freaking cliche. Oh, we're going to slam cut to London. Here's London Calling. Because we have no other ideas.
Right. Yeah, that's a little... That's not great.
I mean, after Die Another Day did it, it's like, you probably should stop doing it.
I suppose.
It's one of the worst Bond movies. I mean, it's not the worst, but it's...
It is not the worst.
It's in the lower tiers.
If you give me a second, I can tell you exactly where I rank it, because I have a list.
Very nice.
Good knit hat, knit beret.
That is a good
I
time.
have Die Another Day at number 20 out of 25.
It's about right.
So,
It's I've seen about half the Bond movies, maybe just a little over half. So I haven't seen No Time to Die yet, so just like I'll get around to it eventually. It's just like it's 2.5 hours.
I have No Time to Die right in the middle, number 12 out of 25.
That feels about the consensus. I feel like there's a good time to say, like, okay, in terms of our opinions going into the whole thing, you have a very much rosier opinion of the film than I've had in the past.
Yeah.
We'll see if they kind of level out or kind of
Right, because there've definitely been movies that, upon rewatch and analysis, I've gone, gee, this movie really is shit, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And then it's been the other way, too, where
it's going to lift it up.
Right, like way better than I gave it credit for. I will say that I don't know if it's cinematography or just, but the feel of these movies is very spot on. I think it's like I feel like I believe this is 1977.
Kind of place,
yeah.
Yeah, they changed cinematographers from the previous one. This one is shot by Don Burgess, who was mainly cinematographer for Robert Zemeckis for like 20 years, 19 years, like Forrest Gump and everything up to like, I don't know. And I think he shot like Terminator 3 and Spider-Man and a couple other things here and there, so guy with a track record. And he's stuck with Juan since then. He's done like his Aquaman movies and everything else.
This is very British, and I like it. This is a great shot.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of Juan stuff. He likes the free-flowing camera movements, the big, wide shots.
This is a hell of a tracking shot.
Yeah. It's like if you're going to have a lot of the stuff take place within the house, it's good to take a time to give you the geography, how everything links together, the relation of one room to the next, and everything like that.
Right, yeah, you definitely want a geography.
Mm-hmm.
But this has all been one track.
Yeah.
I don't know how they did it. Maybe they match cut it, whatever the word.
Yeah.
Like they did that war movie that was unbelievably brilliant.
Oh, the
1917.
Sam Mendes flick.
Yeah.
So Starsky and Hutch on the wall. There's one thing I just found out about today when I was trying to look up some research on. Apparently, last October, Apple TV Plus released a 4-part docuseries about this case.
Oh, the Enfield murders?
Enfield poltergeist thing. And Lord, I just saw a trailer and just like, if I had 4 hours today to watch it, I would have watched it, but I didn't.
And you said it's on Apple Plus?
Apple TV Plus.
All right, well, I don't have that, so I'm fucked.
Well, I went up there, it's like, oh, you can get a free week if you sign up.
Well,
so,
I don't know if that's what I would watch with my free week.
Sure, I'm just saying, and just for everyone else out there. The thing is, this whole thing was very well documented. There's like old BBC documentaries and specials about the whole thing, and because that they had actual photographs of pretty much everything. They could match what the kids looked like back then, the decor, the entire room. They got everything like dead set perfect.
James Cameron Titanic-esque is what you're saying?
Probably.
Any chance I can get to reference that movie, I will. She's got her little Nancy Thompson pajamas on there. Not quite the same, but
no, close.
Same ballpark. Interesting Ouija that it's like on paper and looks like, a serial killer cutout.
Yeah. A little cut and paste job.
I always kind of thought, I know that chair comes, not that chair, but the brown one comes into play.
Oh, yeah.
And I always thought that it was kind of out of place. And maybe not out of place, but they like focus on it prematurely, I think.
Probably.
But my question is, how long has this family been living in this house?
To where it's only just starting now.
Right. And that's a great match cut too, where like, how did I get here?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm guessing that based on your photographic evidence theory, that this is what their quarters really looked like.
Largely, I think.
But
I know the bedroom was very meticulously put together because I've seen the photographs and looks. I mean, down to the Starsky and Hutch posters, which were, God knows where they were able to dig that up 30 years after the fact.
You can get anything on eBay,
Sure.
my friend.
I'm just saying. If you want to get it on the cheap, is what I'm saying.
Well,
I
feel like people like James Wan don't care about cheap.
Sure. Well, this one had double the budget the first one. It went out from 20 to 40 million.
And interestingly, they look opposites. You know what I mean? I feel like it looks like more money was spent on the first one. Maybe not.
I do kind of. I think the only thing that kind of nudges me off on this one is like every single scene in the UK it's got this blanket blue cast over it, and just.
Not this one.
Just a little bit. I mean, it's dark gray, kind of desaturated. Just doesn't quite feel as inspired of a way to present things. It feels like kind of almost like an amateur. Not to call him an amateur, but it feels like more like a less experienced, seasoned way of kind of those like. Oh, we're supposed to give this sort of like depressed quality of everything, so we'll just make everything look bleak and dark and gray instead of like trying to be, I don't know. Because when we eventually get all the scenes in the U.S., it's all bright and sunny, it's rosy and everything. So, I don't know.
Well, I think the general narrative is that London is dreary.
Yeah, I know. Just in terms of a nuanced color palette or something else like that, because
this is very bright.
Yeah.
Well, the investigation isn't a load of hogwash. The
evidence
is hogwash.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that George Lutz actually he was the one who copyrighted Amityville Horror.
Oh, really?
So he's trying to make a buck off a lot of things. I mean, whether intentionally or not, it just kind of creates perception that he was trying to scam people or kind of throw up some sort of publicity campaign around them. So a lot of things is perception is reality. If you perceive something, if you make someone perceive what you're doing as something maybe you don't think it should be, but you're throwing up a veil or whatnot, saying, "Oh, I'm going to copyright this. I'm going to make money off this." And if you try to, he sued like 7 or 8 freaking newspapers and stuff like that, calling for like defamation, a whole bunch of stuff.
Because they said he was a hoax.
More or less, they're trying to like present an objective point of view, and it just made him look bad. A lot of things the guy did just made him look bad, and just made it seem like his story was less credible the more he tried to shoot people down about it.
I think that this Crooked Man is an amazing side quest in this movie. I love the Crooked Man.
Okay. They tried so long, and they kept talking about doing a spin-off, they just never cooked it up.
Like, I think that your argument about the dreary look
Yeah.
is supposed to be more indicative of the time frame. But like, I understand your argument about the dissociation between US shots and London shots.
Yeah.
But I think this one feels time-bound just as much as the Conjuring 1 feels that it was shot to look like the time. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so really, maybe the problem is with the US portion, not with the London
Maybe.
portion.
I think for me, it just comes down to the color grading choice of the whole thing. It just feels like...
So this is too blue for you?
It just feels like you could have done something other than just tinge everything blue. Because it doesn't feel as naturalistic, is my thing. Because the first film had a very naturalistic sensibility of how it looked, how it felt. This one's starting to feel more stylized to a degree in that regard. It's not even so much the cinematography, just the way they graded it after the fact, just kind of...
You think that's a budget thing? Like, we've got extra money, let's touch it up a little bit?
I don't know. I mean, like I said, it is a different cinematography to a degree, so things might be lit a little bit differently.
This is a great shot.
Oh, yeah.
This is a great shot. I see your point about it being a little bluish, but I don't mind it. I mean...
Yeah, I don't know, just...
I think if everything was bright and sunny,
it's just a feel for me.
It would take you out of it. I don't know.
I don't know, just a feel for me in terms of, like... Not at all. I'm no expert on color grading to any remote degree, but just in terms of a commentary on it.
Well, I mean...
I just feel like there could be a more creative way of expressing it without just, like, going to turn everything this way on the color grade.
Yeah, it might be oversimplifying it,
Right.
but
I don't know.
we are just giving opinions,
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah.
we're not. Oh. Who is that on the wall? Is it Glenn Campbell? Who is that? It's probably somebody that I should know. They have that nice black kind of shadow there.
Mm-hmm.
Which is weird because it was kind of in the corners of the frame.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's very stark right there. Like,
Yeah.
they've really tried to make it look like there's black in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's weird, right? Like, it almost looks like they smudged it after.
It almost...
Like, it's a digital smudge.
Yeah, because when the camera pans, the blackness kind of dissipates a little bit. I think they probably did like a digital thing to kind of darken that section of the shot.
And it just looks bad.
Yeah. I mean, they've shot all these films digitally. And only maybe 2.5K resolution or some odd fraction like that.
This is off-putting, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah. Get off the technical stuff and talk about some
well,
context.
no. I can go in the weeds all day long.
Oh, yeah, sure.
But I'm like her getting up and standing at the bed there.
Yeah. Startling.
Yes. Like, this whole
And
thing
then
is
she
very...
just crawls back in like there's nothing happening. Like she got up for a glass of water. It's all freaky.
It is. Like... Yeah, maybe don't do that. What's that gimmick on the back of her bed there?
It's
like a camera?
Looks like,
oh, it's a light?
That looks like Patrick Macnee from the Avengers TV series. Speaking of A View to a Kill.
Oh, there you go. A View to a Kill I like.
It's alright.
Oh, you know what? I've got that at number 13 right after No Time to Die. It's because it's got Chris Walken in it.
Oh, yeah. Come on. He's having a blast.
Again, did you see they digitally darkened inside the tent?
Yeah.
All right. My opinion's changing. Wait a minute, this kid says. I like his striped pajamas.
Yeah.
All right, it's 3 times now. Make up your mind. Interesting that... Excuse me. I apologize. Interesting that his head is that way,
Yeah.
right? Like,
The short end.
wouldn't you put your head on the...
In the big baseboard.
in the wall? Like, even if the headboard is...
Yeah.
Maybe he did it that way. No, he didn't. That's weird.
Peculiar,
why,
yes.
why is it backwards? And okay, let's get back. The truck is scary.
Getting off on so many tangents right now. Fucking Bond movies and color grading.
Kid's got big feet, too. He's cute. British kids are usually like really cute or really not cute. How's that for a generalization? Sorry to all our British fans. It's late in the evening, folks, here where we are.
It's been a long time since we did an evening recording.
And you know what? We're having a great goddamn time. You and I would have to change my shorts.
Yes.
There's someone in my tent. I can't even imagine my reaction if I were to
Yeah, just
experience that. God forbid any parent ever believe a child in any movie ever.
No, never.
Then again, she did use logic. So, I gotta give her credit, but that's off-putting.
Yeah.
Janet. Oh, do you think? That chair has really seen better days.
The wall's seen better days.
Well, that's
too.
what I'm saying. The whole thing, like, they live in squalor.
It's all rotten.
Like, it's not good. Again, how long have they been living there? Look at the wall is peeling. That's supposed to indicate a passage of time, which is great.
Yeah.
Although maybe it's just the next morning,
Yeah.
because she's wearing the same outfit there. The old rabbit ears on the TV.
Yeah.
It's your big break in TV. Welcome to prime time, bitch. Look at that remote. Love that.
Jeez. That's why they called it a clicker back in the day.
Well, yeah, I mean, look at the buttons. I mean, that's outstanding. And the remote is gone. The brick. It didn't go between the seats, you idiot. She's got some, what is that, Tang she's drinking there?
Tang.
I haven't had a good Tang in a long time. They still sell Tang, right? I think.
Try Aldi, maybe.
I was at Aldi this morning. They don't have a lot of name brand at Aldi. I don't know who makes Tang. Was it its own company? I need to look it up. I know all I ever think about with Tang is the, up in space.
Oh, yes. I'm sure they've thought of better ideas since then.
"1957 Tang came out.
Gotta get up ahead of that space race.
The brand is currently owned by Kraft and Heinz. So.
They like their powdered stuff.
Yeah, they do.
Powdered mixes.
And according to Wikipedia, Tang is still used on NASA missions to this day.
Oh, there you go. Guess they haven't thought of better things since then.
Well, if they have, right, if it ain't broke, it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at this point in the story, we've so focused on this chair with no context.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a little weird. It's a little weird.
A little belabored.
But I like, so far, the setup of her sleepwalking, experiencing supernatural things, even though they're slight.
Mm-hmm.
I like that the little boy also, fuck yes, hot.
Oh, and the clicker.
The floating click.
Yeah, no.
Look at her eyes. The makeup on her eyes is tremendous.
I mean, she is phenomenal in this film. I fucking love every second she's on film.
That's scream-worthy. Uh-huh. Now, was the cut to her supposed to indicate that she was aware of that situation, or was that just a stylistic?
Just stylistic, I feel. It's like, he's aware of something.
That image of the nun is...
I mean, it's a brilliant fucking design, yeah.
Yes.
It's creepy as shit in this film.
Did she need her own movie? Not exactly. Did you see there on the wall the little Easter egg here, the ALAK and the V in love? Spell, the V is big, and Valak is the name of the nun.
Oh, jeez.
So, there it is, the big V, and then and it's on the back wall too. See the VALA in the window.
Oh, good on him, laying the seeds without me picking up on it before.
There's really no reason for either of those two things to be there.
Yeah.
And it's one, like, on the other hand, it almost is bad.
Subconsciously,
you're supposed to, like, on the second view go, oh my God, look.
Yeah.
But if you have to do that, that's cheap, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
It works better if you... Well, yeah, it is a weird type of thing, because you can't pick up on the first time because you have no context for that being anything until it's like the last 30, 40 minutes of the film.
Right, but then when you look at it and you go, why is that a thing? Like, why is ALAK written on the wall?
I mean, if the kid was kind of influenced by it and was subconsciously doing some, like, Janet is kind of getting influenced here, that would kind of, it would create some context for it, but it's just kind of there for a kitschy art direction piece.
Right. It's almost that reverse gotcha ending.
Yeah.
Where they want you to come back on a second view and go, oh, look.
Pick up on the little things.
Right.
There are films that do that extremely well, and it's like the ending changes your context for the film. Like, clues were all there. I just couldn't see them because I didn't have the full picture yet.
Right, but they weren't blatant like that.
Yeah, that's not that. That's just them kind of playing with you. That's the art direction having a little fun for themselves.
It is. It's a little visual jack-off, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Madison Wolfe here, she is just incredible in this film, and she's not British.
She doesn't look British.
She's not British. She's put on an accent. She's doing a pretty damn good job, because I think most of the other actors are British. So it's blending seamlessly.
The wallpaper's not great.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. Not great.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. It's like they live in this shithole.
Yeah.
But I guess if they don't have a lot of money...
Yeah.
You know, this is just a flat, as they say.
Yes.
Even though it's not flat.
Mm-hmm.
Flashlights are a thing of the past, aren't they?
Kinda.
Who has a flashlight anymore? Everyone just uses their phone.
Yeah.
I mean, I have one, but I haven't used it in 10 years.
Yeah. There's one in my car I didn't realize I had until recently.
When's the last time you used the flashlight on your phone?
Probably last night.
Exactly. That's my point. This is the kind of great insight that everyone here is tuned in for.
There it is.
Why does it only happen at night? Where does he hang out the rest of the day? One of these was his bedroom. Holy shit. Apparently he was in that room. No, he couldn't have been because he was in the chair downstairs. So this is weird. She's a 10.
Oh yeah. And she's only getting warmed up.
Has she done other work since this? I feel like, what year was this?
2016.
16. So that was 8 years ago.
Her television debut in True Detective.
Oh, really?
Even younger than this.
Oh my God, that's her? True Detective. Where did the sister come from? I didn't think the sister was in the room. Yes, there is. True Detective is one of the best miniseries / limited series I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking off air beforehand, and I also claim that the Chernobyl on HBO is one of the best ever. Band of Brothers on HBO
One brought her back from Malignant. Young Serena.
I only saw Malignant once. It's very weird.
I'm aware of that.
Now, you've not seen it, right?
No.
But do you know is the ending spoiled for you?
I'm generally aware of what the film... It's
Okay.
hard to even say that. But I'm aware it's a very far out,
Premise,
bizarre,
yeah.
weird thing is going out of someone that take on a life of their own.
It's weird. It's not awful, but it's not good.
It's not entirely what they market it as either. As if they could figure out how to market that to begin with.
Well, if I'm remembering correctly, it came out in
2020. So it was
okay, was it 21?
21.
So it was a COVID thing.
Yeah.
And like everyone was around, still kind of
iffy
and
about theatrical.
watching things at home, right?
Yeah.
So anything that came out new on Netflix or any streaming in the years 2020 and 2021 were instant hits, regardless if they were good.
Whatever the fuck.
Because that was it. You watched what was given to you.
Yeah.
Is that the neighbor fellow back there? Because he's not looking too happy right now. These transitions from like the swipes left and right, up and down that go room to room.
Yeah.
I love that.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's a really good stylistic maneuver.
It's a real good free flowing idea. I mean, I like that one uses a lot of Steadicam, a lot of wide angle shots.
I also like, as far as story goes, that all of these non-residents are experiencing something.
Yeah. Not like it just shuts up when someone else walks in the door.
Right. That would be really shitty.
Yeah, that's too convenient for the storytelling, I feel. To manufacture a dissidence, or whatever you want to call it.
Right. Especially because there were 5 witnesses prior. It wasn't one.
Right.
It was a whole family, including one adult.
Yeah. And I mean...
no strings on that.
Explain that one.
There's no strings pulling that along like there were the slugs in the last movie.
Nothing I can know about that. He's honest.
How is it that the police are going to be like, well, never mind, we're just going to pass it along? Like, they weren't freaked out in any way? See, there it is again on the wall. VALAK. On the bookshelf right by the encyclopedias. Let's see if they do another wide shot. That would be the 3rd one that I've noticed. She's got the World Book encyclopedias.
Little, yeah.
There's the V. There's the A. The K.
My question, it's got to fit in a context. I mean, why is it adorning there? Is that initials for someone?
Oh, it's down there. V is the A is on the lower shelf. I missed that.
I'm just like it.
Right.
Why is it decorated for that within the Warren household?
Well, that was my issue with the thing on the wall in the kitchen, the ALAK.
Yeah.
What the hell? Why would that be there?
Ah, that's a fucking
Fuck
shot,
yes.
man.
Who's that? The kid says.
One knows you don't have to. You just need a shot. You don't have to do fancy shit.
Right. You didn't have to have a jump scare. You didn't have
It's
to.
gotta look creepy. You design it creepy, it does its own work.
Like this hideous wallpaper.
Yes. You're like Ed's little office here. It's nice and 70s cozy.
Oh, is it ever?
Oh yeah, chill out here, man.
I want to live in there. I bet it smells like cigars and bourbon.
Leather.
Smoke.
Oh, yeah.
Cigarette smoke.
Shag carpeting, the leather. Smell of old musky books.
I love that the pictures on the wall because that. I don't know.
That's the house from the first film. And the other painting. It's almost like the poster from the first film. I mean, if they catch back over there.
I saw it.
Yeah.
Although
Interesting.
I wasn't really looking at
Yeah.
it under that lens.
Yeah,
But
and just like it struck me.
did the face change on that nun? In the
didn't-
picture, I don't-
didn't catch anything.
Maybe I'm just seeing shit.
The focal length changes or something. Uh-huh.
You know, the other painting that's on the floor kind of reminded me of the house and the marsh in Dead Silence.
Okay.
Which would be another homage.
I mean, the one over
The
here
one down
to
the left, yeah, but maybe it's not. No, upon further review. Oh, the shadow moving. That's outstanding filmmaking right there.
Uh-huh.
Like, this is scary as fuck.
Oh yeah, I mean, the sound design, Farmiga playing it, and then
It's perfect. This is so scary.
the hands. Oh fuck me.
I don't like how. That's terrifying. Yes. Yes. All of it. Yes. And the problem is, you couldn't leave well enough alone and just have that be a scary thing. They had to give her 2 movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's like on the first one, Annabelle was like an afterthought. It's like, okay, people kind of react to that, and there is a bit of a story there. Kind of thought about after the fact, like, okay, we can spin it off in the whole thing. Now it feels, going into this one, it feels like they're like
They created this for the sequel.
intentionally trying to create the nun, the crooked man, stuff like that, so they can franchise off in different places.
Right. Yeah, as clever as the Valak around the house is, it's really upsetting how...
Because it's not like it's the initials of everyone in the family. I mean, it's Ed and Lorraine. They're like kind of L in there, but who's
Right.
the B and the A and the K?
Right. I don't know what the daughter's name is, but
Yeah, but
there's no W in Valak either, so...
no. So it's a little overly contrived in that regard. They're trying to throw stuff in there without any real in-universe reason for it being there.
Right.
And strangely enough, Balak was the name of Thomas Ian Griffith's character in Vampires.
You're right. Yes.
So that was Valek. That always throws me off because, like,
right.
versus a vampire, now it's a demon. Just don't name your kid Valek because it's just not
Look
going
at
to
this
turn out
guy.
right.
If young Tin Robbins was a
Yeah, a little bit.
was a British man,
With a perm.
Constable Peterson, Constable Heaps. What I think would have been a nice little touch was, look at the mustache on this fuck.
They went, like I said, they had old film documentarian stuff from this stuff. They got him on the money. The hair, the makeup, the look, all of it's exactly right.
What I wish would have happened was, I wish that the mom character would have looked more haggard, much like Chris McNeil does in The Exorcist.
Yeah. Just looks like you've been through a war. Your soul has been drained out.
Right. Now, the events in this movie thus far have not equaled those of The Exorcist.
No.
But I do think that a mom, in particular a single mom, would probably
trying to support like 5 kids on a very meager salary, wage, whatever it is.
And I'm sure that she would be feeling the stressors and they would have a physical toll on her.
I mean, she was already stressed out from the beginning, saying,
we don't have any money,
don't have the money
right,
for this, and I'm just trying my best.
But look at...
She's just, oh God.
Like, she's better than everybody.
Where's her award? Where's her statue? Come on, damn it.
Again, genre pictures get no
man.
appreciation.
On an extreme rare occasion. But, like, she fucking does it.
But look at her. She looks like nothing's happened. This guy, unbelievable.
Simon McBurney, really good actor. He said hair and makeup got him to the fucking T from the archival photos and the footage, everything. Even the trailer I saw for the docu-series. All exactly. Everything's down to the finest detail, just like it looks exactly like everything in this film.
Isn't it interesting that these two men and the people in the room look around as if to say, that's a neat trick, how did you do that? As opposed to actually reacting.
Like it's fucking Copperfield.
Right.
No, the teeth. I like the teeth. They morph every so often.
Nobody asked me your name. Like, look at everybody else in the back. Nobody's reacting as if this is scary. Or...
yeah.
Like old boy there in the back with the headphones is just sleeping. Like...
yeah, there's... Like you were saying with the officers going in there and investigating.
Right.
Because they're trying to play it so real that they're not really making them react to the situation as much. They're trying to anchor it too much in probably what they think really was like it counts everything, and not really trying to play it up as a cinematic storytelling feature.
What do you mean? He just said it's his house.
She's fucking great. If it's someone else's voice, she's playing it physically so good.
Like, at this point,
it would
Go ahead.
Towards your point, it'd be nice because we have a couple of skeptics in this gallery of people. It'd be nice if there was a contrast. Some of them are acting more unsettled by it, and some are more reserved, thinking there's some sort of hoax or what. So they're putting it on for us or something like that. It'd be nice if they had a little mixture of reactions,
as opposed to a complete
everyone's blank face,
a panel of no reaction.
Yeah.
Like, react somehow.
Yeah.
They just no-sold the whole thing.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
This kid and his biscuits. I love it. What I was going to say is, the guy just said, I died in this chair. Mm-hmm. This is public record. You could look it up.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, maybe not as easily in 1970, whatever.
Yeah, I'm sure.
As now, but like, somebody could...
You can find out who owned it before.
The police would have a record of...
Investigate down the line who...
Right, the police would have a record of picking up a dead body in a home. This is the shot right here, if I remember correctly, and it's been a while. Whatever this style of toy is that utilizes the flip book,
yeah,
method.
Buried in my mind somewhere.
It's creepy and awesome at the same time. This shot is very charming too. Like, everyone's sleeping together. Yeah, like...
Zootrope.
Oh, yes. Yes.
That's in
Francis Ford Coppola.
American Zootrope, yes.
Speaking of which, is his...
Megalopolis.
Is it finally coming out? It's only been in the works for 30 years.
There's a teaser out. I don't know who picked up the distribution rights, if anyone's doing shit, because...
Like, he's gonna be dead before the thing actually happens.
They got the fucking split down to divide. The fucking can where it was.
Baron's a good name for a dog.
I feel like Coppola's fine with that kind of reaction, man. I'm sure he's no stranger to any reaction to anything he's ever put out.
Godfather 2, 50 years ago. Oh, fuck. Look at it. Oh, God. Amazing. I love it. It's a little too CGI, but...
Well, that was the thing. A lot of people had a problem with it because how they photographed it made it feel fake. But it's actually a guy in a suit. They got this, like, super thin, lanky, tall guy.
Right.
You get in the whole thing. So when you see the behind-the-scenes stuff, looks fine. But how they do it with this sort of speed-ramping, jerky type of thing, and whatever the hell it is, it just never felt real. It felt like it was a digital effect on the whole thing. I'm sure there's some minor enhancements, like when it's doing the transformation thing there, but the rest of it just felt weird. But when she steps out doing this, I'm terrified of it. She's fucking amazing.
And
God
now we have two more witnesses, because they're...
Right. The neighbors.
The neighbors are here.
Right.
Damn it, Janet. We're bordering on the dramatic irony that I don't like. Where now we've got 38 people that all have seen it.
And it's gone across the seas.
Right, and now it's like, okay, can we just have somebody believe it, please?
Right.
That isn't there? Let's see if there's a Valak in this room.
I feel like one of my main oppositions to the film is it feels a little overpacked.
Well, it's a sequel theory, right, where you need multiple villains.
We got the Enfield thing, we got Amityville, we got the Crooked Man, we got the Nun. We're putting a lot of stuff into this thing to keep a lot of things spinning all the time. And
Amityville, I don't think is a thing. I think that was...
No, but it's a stepping stone to something else, and then it's nothing... Amityville leads to the Nun, and the Nun ends up tying into the Enfield thing as a demon behind the whole thing, and it just... They're taking a lot of steps to get around to a simple premise. Because the great thing about the first film, it was simple. It was straightforward. It was a classic haunted house sort of possession film, and you could follow it very easily. This one's throwing a lot of curves into the story here. I mean, for them, the two of them are fabulous. They're just incredible actors together all the time. And having character... The thing I like about the franchise with these two is that you get character development every so often. You build their characters. The franchise is led by the two of them. And you want to develop them as it goes along and the relationship and stuff goes on.
But the problem is it's not really about these two anymore.
No, it's not really. It's far more about the other family across in the UK, and you're just kind of waiting for the Warrens to kind of get caught up into the main narrative. Because everything they're doing is a subplot. They could easily cut the subplot of the Nun out and still have the Enfield thing run pretty much seamlessly. So they've really added the Nun thing in there to kind of bolster their characters, to have sort of something for them to go for. Because they did set up in the first film that Lorraine did see something on a previous case that upset her so much that Ed never asked her about it, and this is sort of the continuation of that idea.
Right.
Which is kind of here or there, the fact that it kind of manifests as Amityville, and it feels more like it's more tied to that thing than it was something in the past. So it's a little on the complicated side. It's not as clean of a narrative. It's not like, oh, I saw this thing before and now it's back and I recognize it as this. Like, we don't get that till like pretty much the final act of the film.
I don't know. So you think that if we eliminate Amityville, we keep the Nun, but the Nun is...
Not so much the Amityville, it just feels like the Enfield thing works just fine without all the other stuff they're dealing with over in the U.S.
But
with that lineage of where the Nun starts out in Amityville and moves on from that point forward.
Right, I feel like Lorraine overcoming the Nun ends the Enfield story at the end of this movie.
Yes.
So, like, if we eliminate the Nun completely, then that ruins this. If we just take away the Amityville Nun situation and the Nun is an English entity, then that would be better.
A little cleaner. Because this kind of makes it a little on the convenient side, because they just kind of fall into the case. There's nothing that happened with the Nun and Amityville that drives them towards this. It's just like it falls in their lap, they just kind of jump on it. Wherein the whole time it's the exact same demon that's haunting both of them, and they just happen to intersect.
Right, it
thousands
feels...
of miles across the freaking ocean.
It feels convenient, yes.
So it's not as clean of an organic narrative in that regard. There's just two things that happen to be connected, that no one knows is connected, that have ended up ramming each other into each other. So... It feels like they kind of decided to go as big and as fill out all the stories as possible, that they could have found an easier way to kind of link them together that felt more organic. That maybe there was something that more Lorraine saw in her visions that eventually when this case comes up, it clicks in her head that everything's kind of... There's some sort of thing that she's compelled to go over there and investigate this thing. because of what she's seen.
That really would have been a better choice.
Yeah.
The girl also doesn't look haggard like Reagan did. You know what I mean?
Well, she was directly possessed.
I suppose.
Yeah.
But this is still trauma happening to a child. You know what I mean? I feel like... And I know it's based on a true story, so you can't, like, make her hair gray or something, you know,
like I said, they're trying to serve a little bit on the Two Masters side, trying to be... Take in context the stuff that supposedly really happened to the reappeal, where a lot of them are still around, and still trying to push forward the cinematic stuff where you got freaking big demons and all this other psychic stuff happening to kind of expand the fictional universe. So it just becomes a little contentious trying to balance those two things. And like I said, it's best to just kind of like be aware that it's kind of based on stuff that people say actually happened, but not really make it kind of force you to kind of break it down and hinder your experience.
What I find kind of off-putting is that I just glanced down, and this is really only like the midpoint of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, the Warrens going to help.
Yeah.
Which was also the midpoint of Conjuring 1, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So,
but it felt like it got there a little... Well, the first one is a little bit short of a film.
Yeah, agreed.
And it felt like it moved a little bit swifter, to a degree.
These are both great actresses.
Oh, yeah.
She's so good.
Oh, yeah.
There really is a lot happening here. Like, we have 3 different ghosts, and we have the possessed child.
Yeah.
Not possessed, but you know what I mean, the conduit.
The haunted child,
right.
Let's say.
So it's like 4 characters as opposed to 2.
That's why I'm saying they went in this one trying a little hard.
Right.
On the franchise angle. They kind of entertained every single idea they had and kind of found a way to slot it in.
Right. We don't need Poison Ivy and the Ice Guy and
Freeze and Bane.
and Batgirl and
Bane.
Yeah, like
we can thin it out a little bit.
Right.
Streamline it. Like I said, it's nice to have a lean story. '77. Ellis is still kicking for a
little while.
He's bloated, but he's kicking.
Yeah, I think he died in August. Does that sound right?
Yeah. Okay. I was thinking '79. It is '77.
It is '77. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not much. It's months.
Not much.
He
ain't in good shape, man. He's sweaty. He's fat. He's probably up on some...
I was taking a drink and you got me.
He's sweaty, bloated. He's probably taking some stuff you really shouldn't be taking right now. It's not a fun sight. He's not that good that big leather slim outfit he had on the comeback special, man.
Did you see the Baz Luhrmann Elvis movie?
No, I didn't. I heard Austin Butler was a killer.
He's really good. It's good. I recommend it.
I've been hooked on walking in Memphis lately. Every couple of days.
The Marcone or the Cher version?
Marcone.
Okay. Cher's a good cover, but it's not as good as the original.
Oh, he's got.
And I'm a Cher apologist, as you know.
Marcone's just got that deep, soulful voice, man. He just, it's so good. Every couple of days I throw it on.
Oh, it's Christmas time. Elvis is dead.
Oh, Croker.
I don't know, what year is this movie taking place?
I think it said 77 at the start.
Oh, it is. December the 21st, 77.
Yeah, there we go.
So, he's gone.
Oh, crud. Well, now we're just waiting for... Too early. We got to wait a couple years, and they'll see him at gas stations and fucking Ponderosa or some shit.
I was correct. August 16th, 1977, he died. I thought I was going to say the 25th, but I'm confusing that with Gene Simmons' birthday, so...
That's a wild confusion.
Well, I'm just saying the date stuck out, and I was like, why do I know that date? Yeah, it's Gene's birthday, not Elvis's death day. But I had the month and the year right, so I think I get partial credit. This guy is unbelievable.
Oh yeah, he's great.
He's got a little like Mike Myers in him.
You just dial it up a little bit more.
Right. Like if this was a comedy and not a horror, Mike Myers is playing that guy.
I mean, McBurney's got to anchor it because the look is hard to pull off, man. They're being like thoroughly accurate.
Yeah, but Mike Myers has a round face.
Yeah. I'm just saying, it's like you start with the look. It's like I got to anchor this as much as possible to make it serious. But this whole fucking business here is just the shit, man. That's how you use a frame.
Right here, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he is in the foreground. He's the subject.
Yeah.
But all eyes
You're
are...
just looking over here.
The eyes are in the back.
Oh, yeah. That's the perfect
Which
thing.
is the best way, if something were to happen to him right now, that would actually catch you off guard.
Yeah.
So, think about that for your next movie film project, where we have something in the background as a distraction, but the bad stuff's actually going to happen to the foreground.
Yeah.
Edward.
What they got for this voice, man, is out of control.
He's so, like, surgical in his delivery.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's just magnificent. Every time I see him in anything, he's just on point 100% of the time. Love him.
And if you notice the background, it's not right. It's not her anymore. It's him. And whatever actor they got to play him is terrifying in his own right.
Yeah.
I wasn't even really paying attention to the switch, the morph, as it were. But I was looking at him like I was supposed to, and when I looked back, I was like, wait, that's not right.
Yeah.
So they got me.
Yeah. It's the fact that even Wilson knows they're not really looking at me in the scene, but he still just has all the subtleties, all the precision reactions for it to hold up.
I wonder if there was actually the actor in the chair there, in the background.
Yeah, I'm curious exactly. Exactly what techniques they used.
I mean, they could have just overlaid it in post,
Yeah.
you know? Ugh, gross. Every shot of the outside of this house has been from this angle. It's kind of annoying. Like,
little
it
bit.
was cute at first.
It's like the sitcom. It's the same fucking shot of the house every fucking day.
Right, they just take one still shot.
Yeah.
But that's...
They've used it for 50 episodes.
That's different, though.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I don't think they've actually reused a shot.
No, but
It's a copy.
right. I mean, we know it's just used there as a scene break tool.
Right.
So it's like it's. But yeah, it feels like there's some other idea could have gone somewhere. I don't know. It's the smallest thing to nitpick, but
Odd place to keep your umbrella. There it is. I mean,
it would have been nice for this part here, but instead of the first one. Or maybe if the shot started out kind of moving in toward, if it was much more up close towards the window and they just move it in there, that'd be better than the wide shot afterwards would have. Just a variation.
something.
You're starting out showing all this. This is the one room we're focusing on, then the entire house or something. Just minor little things, but they help with a freshness moving forward.
Well, if you remember back, I don't know, you're not as big of a scholar on like the early age of cinema.
Sure.
But you know, it used to be like establishing shot outside the house was like a steady shot.
Yeah.
And then it was like interior shot, steady shot, and then close-up shot of the talking. Like it was very like
clinical.
Yes. And it was always the same.
Sure.
Like exterior.
As they're trying to figure out the language of film.
Right. It was, you know, it was three distinct
Levels.
not non-motion shots, just static pictures almost.
They barely probably even had dollies back then yet. So hand cranking the things.
Well,
there's
sure.
only so much you could do back then.
I mean, I know all about a hand crank. I love when she wakes up in a different spot.
Yeah.
In this case, on the ceiling.
Yeah.
Like Lionel Richie.
Yes. Tina, Elm Street.
Well, sure.
She was crawling and going along the wall.
Shout out to Jim Doyle for the rotating room once more. R.I.P.
Sparks and flying wires everywhere.
Right. When they dumped 3,000 gallons of water on.
Fucking Rod Lane and shit.
What was he whistling This Old Man?
I think so, yeah.
Because we have the volume down and my ears ring really bad, so I have a hard time hearing whistling, but when it's low. But I thought that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably some sort of revolving room gag, yeah?
Or at least they turned built an upside down set and flipped the camera.
Yeah, that it could be either way. That's a really cool thing, though, where she goes through this roof.
Yeah. Ceiling, yeah.
Well, ceiling, yeah. Great with the tears.
Uh-huh. A little red around the eyes, too.
Yeah, that's been there the whole time. This is a great gag.
Yeah.
So easy, too, where they just turn them from... There's literally just a guy walking around behind there, just turning them with a screw.
Something like that, yeah.
And there's
There
this old man. Damn it, Janet. God, that movie's got to be 50 years old too, right? Rocky Horror?
Oh.
So good.
Oh, boy.
That's a bad reaction. You know what I mean?
Could have been more, yeah.
They didn't come out till now. The door was locked on your side.
Let me in, let me in.
Let us out, let us out. Yeah, overall, like, I guess if we're going to compare the ghost assault from this movie to the ghost assault on the first movie, the Conjuring 1 felt a little scarier.
Yeah.
I think. I don't dislike this. I'm not having a bad time. I'm really not poo-pooing.
I do feel like this story, it has to hit a lot more beats along the way, because it's not just the Warrens coming in and investigating. Then you got to deal with all these other investigators from the UK. Some are naysayers, some of this, that, and the other thing. So you also have to integrate them into the story because they're part of the original, real documented story.
Well, okay, so if that's the case, and this is my argument with the Marvels and what superheroes.
Sure, yeah.
If you start adding characters, right, and we've got 2 hours to work with, that means the storylines for each character get smaller and smaller.
Right.
Which means that they should be better because you have a more concentrated time to tell what you need to tell. It shouldn't feel like a 3-hour movie when you're watching a 2-hour movie.
Right.
And this one feels long.
Yeah.
And so something is broken. I don't know where, I don't know how yet.
Right. Well, we got our 50 minutes to go.
Well, I'm thinking that there's a lot of credits.
Yeah, I'm just saying. 40-45.
Here's your point where we've got a skeptic who's finally expressing
an opinion.
Right.
She has been observing.
I don't even know if she's spoken before this moment.
They had a piece of newsreel footage, and that was about it.
Can I talk about how much I'm in love with this London pub? Like, I want to live at I want this to be my hometown.
Especially with that snow floating around out there.
It's beautiful. Gorgeous. How could you not? We've all seen it.
Right, we've seen enough fucking weird, inexplicable shit. But the problem is, they haven't seen as much as the Warrens have, so they haven't seen the stuff flying around and weird old guy freaking assaulting her in the bedroom and everything.
Okay.
So,
I'm just saying.
in terms of seeing with your own eyes.
I'm a non-believer.
Yeah.
You're also probably a non-believer in the ghosts.
I'm willing to believe some weird shit.
Okay, well, that's fine. Okay, so now you and I are in a room, and a child has presented us with a ghost story, and we both go, I don't know.
Yeah.
Then the parent of that child says, well, the child said these things, and then I saw them, and so did the sisters.
Okay.
So now there's 5 of us that have seen it.
Okay.
Then I'm going to go, well, okay.
Benefit of the doubt.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Now you've got 2 experts that are in the room, and they go, well, we've also seen it.
Yeah.
How can you, the argument's over.
You continue to just be stalwarts and say no.
How is that No.
It should at least be like, okay, I'm willing to hear you out. Let's see what some evidence is. That's like, stop, no, fuck them, whatever we think is bullshit. So, yeah, so. And they're having conflicting reports about how much the Warrens were involved, how long they were actually there, so. Again, not to belabor that point about the real versus the fiction and blending things here and there. It just seems like it's kind of the unfortunate crux of the whole thing. It's like if they could just okay, we just got the idea from this and we just go off and just it doesn't matter what actually happened. Let's just craft the story how we feel best fits to tell a story. It could be a better story in that regard. Instead of there's a lot of facts you really have to kind of hit here, and there, type of thing. Or like in the third one that we'll eventually get to, it's just an amalgamation of different stories. They really didn't follow any particular line of real events. He just kind of threw a bunch of stuff into mishmash, just patchwork a story together.
Elvis has been dead for less than 6 months, and nobody's commented on the fact,
yeah.
Nobody said, man, I'm so sad he's dead.
Yeah. Something.
There's been no we've referenced Elvis twice, but not in the context of his death. And Elvis was
it's the king.
He went on. He was the first of the global
sensations.
There's Elvis, there's Michael Jackson, there's Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Those are the people that are, also, Michael Jordan is a worldwide
global star, yeah.
But as far as musicians go, I guess the Beatles count.
Yeah,
but
Elvis was colossal. And no one had seen anything like him before. Not on the scale that he was exposed to.
If Taylor Swift died, and then a movie came out 6 months later that referenced her twice, but nobody said, my God, how sad are we that she's dead?
Right.
That'd be weird, right? That's weird.
Right.
Including singing one of the songs.
One of his best songs. I love that song.
I just think it's weird. Sorry.
Right, well, if you're trying to have some historical accuracy. See, of course, but the fact they play London Calling in a scene where it takes place before the song's even been written.
Right.
Maybe not.
So whoever wrote it ripped off this movie, right?
Like George Strummer's twisting in his grave. He's so charming.
So is she.
Oh yeah, too. But come on, Patrick Wilson. Wouldn't you love to meet him? I would love to work with him. He just seems like a great guy. I mean, obviously we're seeing him in a role here, but I've seen enough of him just in general.
Well, yeah.
He's a fantastic, talented, fantastic collaborator with Juan and everything. I mean, the fact that they're pretty linked together through most of what Juan has done says a lot towards his quality. As I always said, back when I was making all the other stuff years ago, it's like, I'm not paying anyone on this thing. If I was a big fucking dickhead about things, no one would be around me. Everyone would have walked off ages ago.
Right.
But because I was appreciative and respectful and was a good guy to work with, for the most part, people stuck around and went the extra miles for me.
Don't you just want to be friends with this guy?
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's a jolly British man.
Oh, yeah.
A tortured British man, but...
Sure. Again, go down to the pub, get some pints.
Like, I want to be friends with that. He looks ridiculous, but I want to be friends with him.
Smoke a cigar, a pipe in the freaking park
In
or
that
something with
in that
them.
pub
Oh, yeah.
with the snow.
Yeah, I mean, it's at least the fact that, okay, you're going to have these characters in it. Give them a little piece of substance there.
By the way, I didn't say anything before, but all of this water was in the basement when they were doing the laundry like an hour ago. And I thought to myself, that's weird, right? Like...
It's going to get bad. You're going to get fucking bugs. It's going to stink like Christ.
The whole... I mean, everything is ruined.
Yeah.
We're gonna have Georgie in his raincoat come out of the water.
Yeah. The severed arm.
So good. I'm very interested. To sidebar for a second here.
Sure.
There is that new show that's going to be coming out called Welcome to Derry.
Yes, the prequel series.
And so they don't have Georgie, but they have the old man come out of the water. And yeah, Skarsgård's
going to be in it.
He's coming back as Big Penny, and I'm really hoping that it dives into some of those backstories in the book.
Right.
Like the
Black Club and everything.
Right. The Easter egg hunt at the Kitchener Ironworks could be an episode. Like, I'm so excited. Now, how can she see it but he can't?
It disappeared and then...
Oh. He took a bath.
Just playing games.
Quit playing games with my heart. That's such an old man move, right? Old man would bite you. Get out of my house, I'll bite you.
John Boyd Kramer.
Sure. Sure he did. That was after Costanza bought his car.
Yes. Costanza had the pencil with the null marks on it.
That's right, right.
Match them
the
up.
John Voight pencil. You got it.
Tim Watley on the job. It was sticklofluoride.
That doesn't match at all, actually.
There's the Manhunter with the Tooth Fairy.
There you go. I just watched Manhunter again not that long ago. I think I texted you when I did.
You posted about it.
It's one of your favorites.
I'm on the hunt for the Laserdisc. I need it. Until he gets me the 4K, I need to get every version.
Well, Scream Factory put out a Blu-ray
I got that one
a while back, and now that one is
out of print.
And people pay a big sum of money for it. So if you ever, I don't know, like if you found the Laserdisc and it was
reasonably priced,
right, you could sell your Blu-ray at a profit and pay for the Laserdisc and have some left over for a 4K down the road.
Yeah. This man did a screening earlier this year of his own personal, I think it was a 70mm print that he has. I think it was at CinemaCon.
Tom Noonan is a fantastic in that movie.
Kind of fantastic at everything I've seen him in.
Yeah, he is. Have you seen House of the Devil?
I keep meaning to. I have never gotten around to. I know he's prominent in that. That's Ty West.
It's a Ty West. Sorry, we're not talking about this movie, but hold on for a minute.
It's long enough.
I can sidebar. Ty West did a movie called House of the Devil, and it is such a throwback. When you watch it, you feel like you're sitting in your, living room in 1980, whatever, watching a VHS. It's a babysitter movie.
Okay.
She takes a babysitting job, and the people that she works for are not who they seem to be.
Mm-hmm.
And Tom Noonan is one of the people in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And it is... It's a really great movie. So, recommend that for all you folks that have never seen it. So, all of this feels kind of less than. After, having so recently watched Conjuring 1.
Mm-hmm. Because the first film, it was like kind of tried and true classic scares. You might have seen some of the stuff before, but it was executed very, very well. And flowed a lot of organic stuff from how the film was building up the story. Again, this one just has a lot more story to it.
Yeah, but does it really? I mean, it really boils down to a get out of my house story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
I said,
but
it's almost...
what it's missing is the link to the nun.
Right.
Like...
That's the thing. There's so many plot threads that something has to go on pause for a long point in time to progress something up to the point where it can catch up to something else. We gotta get the Enfield stuff going, and then Warren's got to deal with the Amityville stuff into the nun stuff, and then get up to that. Now we gotta put all the nun stuff like it's not even a thing anymore.
This is the cinematic equivalent of a WWE Money in the Bank match.
You've set up three different ladders on the outside, and 17 minutes later, someone's going to take a fall on it, or someone's going to run up a ramp somewhere.
Right.
That's highly contrived that someone set it up in the first place.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
But again, these are just high spots.
Yeah.
In the whole...
Right. It's so much pivoting back and forth on the believer to skeptic type of thing that we're trying to weigh one, because the ghost is playing games.
Right, but I mean, I have to call bullshit on that. At no point now can we say that anybody is a non-believer.
But still...
So let's just get to the fucking point.
But they're going to throw a swerve in here shortly from all the other, video camera evidence and everything that Janet faked it all.
Right, I remember that.
Because the demon tells them, and goes to demon whatnot, tells her this, that, and the other thing, drive them out or else I'm going to kill everyone. And it's just playing a swerve game a bit much. It's a little belabored, is just the fact. I don't think it's belaboring a particular point. It just feels like you got to trudge through a lot of stuff to get to a point where So, I don't know. Feels like there's just like a lot of machinations behind the scenes of the story that just forcing a lot of, requiring to build up a lot of traction to get somewhere.
Now, there have been at least three different times in this movie where the ghost has actually been using her as the
conduit.
Right.
Yeah.
So why would anybody believe that that isn't the case here? Like, she's actually doing it, but
Right.
the ghost is possessing her to do it.
It's so much the thing that we've built up so much evidence, so many inexplicable things that cannot be explained, that once we see one thing that seems like a hoax, we just blow everything else off without explaining off anything else. Or questioning why this was happening at this point in time, why she was doing this, when we've been completely disregarding all her other actions. We can explain everything else off, and now there's like an imbalance in that regard. The Warrens completely believe everything because they believe in the people. They've seen things with their own eyes that seem impossible to be happening. If they're saying this is all hoax now, well, explain the freaking ghost that was in the freaking room attacking her now. How do you blow that off now? You don't.
Right.
Just you see one thing that seems like it's...
How do you explain the girl using a different voice?
Right. Yeah, it's just... it's not as convincing. For everyone to just now disperse and go off like everything's just nada. It's like you don't take into account the full body of the evidence you've seen and kind of break it down and analyze it and try to understand how everything fits together.
So here's your argument.
Yeah. They don't even be calling you off if you reported this one incident and nothing else.
Right. Yeah, like all of
If you send
this...
someone a report of everything you did, everything you've experienced here in one thing, they would absorb the entire thing in one shot instead of like just look at the one piece of evidence here. They would look over everything. That's what they're overlooking here. It doesn't quite add up in that regard. Like everyone's just walking away. They're not even saying, hey, if she's mentally disturbed, hey, let's get you some help on this whole thing. Or they're just like walking away. It's like, well, what are problems you're dealing with now? Screw you. We're just going away and
right,
like,
it's
figure
like
it out yourself.
Up, that's it.
It just feels disingenuous towards where the progression has become.
Well, she just said it doesn't feel right.
Right. From her intuition, but even from how the story's progressed, how they've become this kind of family unit together, it just doesn't sit well.
You know, it does sit well is the Bee Gees.
Sure.
And I started a joke, and Robin Gibb is really the best Gibb, and R.I.P. And the pre-falsetto Bee Gees, not that I dislike
60s, early 70s.
Right, up to 75. 75 was the first falsetto Bee Gees song. Mm-hmm. And then Saturday Night Fever was 78, and then it
went off
and then it never went back, yeah. Right? So, but the first 10 to 15 years of their career is some of the greatest music you'll ever hear. Yes, I agree. Oh, well, you fucked that up. And it just so happens to land on X marks the spot or some shit.
I don't know what that's supposed to really... Okay. I know where it goes now. Just it takes a minute to kind of remember what's cooking in his head now.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Well, let him explain it.
No. Well, yes, I guess. Oh, so it's in every other situation?
Right, they have to play the tape simultaneously to get the full message. How it comes to that revelation.
Well, because they crossed on the floor,
Right,
Nick.
Right.
Come on, wouldn't you put that together?
No, no. If they were having a conversation about what she was saying and trying to piece together what Janet in the voice was trying to put together, it would come together more organically. It feels like they reverse engineered the scene.
And now she's going to have a visualization of this? Like, I don't...
It's a little leaps to conclusions.
I don't like her...
Clairvoyance.
Yes. I don't like that part of any of these stories.
Okay.
And I realize it's the crux of this entire movie.
Right. Some of it I feel was done a little bit better than the first one. It felt a little bit more just organic, that she kind of picks up on when they're by the tree outside and she just kind of gets struck by something in that regards, and so like she's, I don't know, this comes along a kind of a long way around state, like through some revelation. The cross tapes make him think to play the things in tandem, and then that finally unlocks something in her mind or whatnot about the whole thing. That there wasn't that much of a clue towards before.
One doesn't beget the other.
Right, and we haven't had the nun in an hour. And now it just shows back up, and we're crossing the streams and whatnot.
And it just so happens to be the same one from Amityville.
Right, that's my thing. It's a little on the contrived side. And plot convenience.
Meanwhile, this bitch is left with like...
a fucking wrecked place.
Right, like, oh, sorry, we gotta go now.
Yeah.
This is another one of those movies that would absolutely not happen in the age of cell phones.
Yeah.
Like, this movie cannot take place in, after 2010.
Yeah.
She's kind of got the nun eyes,
and the yellowy eyes.
And the veins.
Yeah.
Pardon me again. Just call me Sneezy.
Now, the kind of interesting thing is they shot a different demon originally.
That isn't the nun?
It was almost like the nun was a guy's on top of the thing. And it
Oh,
was like
no.
It was like this big horned, like real. It was almost like if you took the darkness from Legend, Tim Curry's big character in the whole thing, and made it all black with a few more horns, was kind of the thing. But they felt like it was too much. Like
well, there's already too many layers.
It didn't work as well as the nun did.
Nothing works as well. The nun is the best part of this whole movie.
Right.
We go back to our own house and we look at where it's spelled out in every fucking room.
Right.
A lot of good Fords in this movie. As a Ford stockholder, I appreciate that. I haven't checked on my Ford stock in a long time. I wonder how it's doing.
That would seem to be an important thing.
Not really.
No.
You just kind of set it and forget it.
Okay.
Unless there's like breaking news or something that, to the negative side.
Uh-oh. Oh.
Oops.
Clonked by the couch.
I bet you didn't think you were going to say that sentence just when you woke up this morning, huh? How far away were they when they came with this They were on a train, for Christ's sake. Like, all of a sudden they just come speeding back into Ford.
And he was still sitting there waiting?
Right.
It took them 10 minutes to get to the train station, their tickets and everything like that. They didn't plan it ahead. They had to get the tickets on the spot.
Yeah, get that football player in there.
That's the UK. Football's something different over there.
You're right.
Rugby player or something, maybe.
He might be a rugby guy, yeah. I mean, he could have been, the Pittsburgh Steelers were running roughshod over everybody over on this side of the pond. I don't know how popular the U.S. football was
Over yonder?
over anywhere before,
Whatever.
15, 20 years ago.
Can't imagine much.
Now it's, global.
Yeah, before global satellites and all the different... the easier way to kind of broadcast news internationally and programming internationally. I mean, there's show it a premiere in the U.S. It wouldn't get over to overseas till like fucking 6-7 years after the fact or something. World wasn't quite in sync yet. Took a few years.
Sure. Now, we've also not circled back to the idea that she visualized his death. And
I mean, it's the fact that why she's so scared for him going in there alone is that she saw the premonition of his death.
right, but the premonition of his death was being impaled by a tree,
Right,
and there are no
right.
trees in the house. So,
Right. So, yeah, just...
and also it's not come up since the beginning of the movie. Like, they had that whole conversation about we're going to be observers, and
Right.
like if anything goes sideways, we're getting out of there.
Right.
The soggy floor there.
Yeah. Bending all over the place. Oh.
Now, is it the steam or was it the knob that caused all
I think it
this?
was the steam, because he ends up having like the burn marks on his...
Right, but, I mean, the knob actually would have done more damage than the...
Yeah.
He'd have been concussed. Or blind.
Oh.
Oh, there he is blind. Going blind. Having one of your senses disabled
Yeah.
is a good storytelling device.
Nice hands. Yeah, it's an elevated sense of peril.
Right, and I think it works no matter which
Vulnerability.
no matter which of the major senses, like
Right. Hearing impairment.
vision.
Maybe not taste, but...
Right.
Sight, hearing.
Those two, really. Like, if you take away one...
Right. Yeah. Maybe if you go numb or something like that, that'd be a thing, but...
Yeah, but that's hard to photograph.
Yeah, it's hard to photograph numbness. Good job acting blind. It's not easy. Can't be easy.
No. I mean, going
Like I
back
ain't seeing shit when I can see it clearly isn't...
going back to Manhunter,
Sure, yeah.
Joan
Allen.
Allen. Joan Allen, who is a fantastic actress, she, like, spent time with blind people
Oh, yeah.
before...
Yeah.
And she does a great job of acting blind.
Yeah.
You still let that door open, you fat fuck.
Jesus, mother. Don't you have a window?
Just, God, put a shoulder into it. Just think back to the way that you've decorated your own home on multiple occasions.
Yes.
Okay, that is really bad logic, is it not? Like, the fact that if you have to say the name to gain control over it, but then figure out that you know the name because that entity told it to you?
That's bad circular logic.
Right. All right, this movie's shit. Timestamp at 1:58.
Was it subconsciously she freaking decorated the house like that then?
Yes, I guess. Like, she went to Hobby Lobby and specifically bought those letters. Unknowingly.
Oh my lord. Because of fucking Amityville.
But that part doesn't bother me as much because...
Still talking about this shit.
Well, I'm saying, like, there are so many movies that start off with a case that just show you, you know, like Lethal Weapon, whatever, 2.
Yeah.
It starts off in the heat of the moment, right?
Yeah. Kruger rounds.
Now, that's a bad example, actually, because...
That's connected to the main plot,
right.
yes.
Well, how about Lethal Weapon 3 with the bomb and the...
The bomb.
Right, like, that is not related to what they end up...
Go listen to our Lethal Weapon commentaries, please, after this one's done.
And, you know, you got to show people doing their job.
Yeah.
And it just so happened that that was their job.
I just like poking fun at Amityville because it's a pile of shit. Purported truth of it is a pile of shit.
There's my boy.
Yeah. Boy. And try this cosplay.
Dude.
Get some stilts.
Heck yes. Although I might be confused for what's the other one that
What?
Shit. There's a great documentary about those two girls that killed somebody because the
Slender Man.
Slender Man, yeah. I feel like Slender Man
Ain't fitting in that door, pal.
Slender Man and the Crooked Man could be easily confused, no?
Sure.
Like, you'd have to have the right outfit to differentiate. Great documentary, Beware the Slender Man. Did you? I don't know if you saw it.
No.
It's awesome. It's awesome. If you like documentaries.
Sure.
That's her U2 pose there for Bono. So now it's gonna try to kill her?
After all this time, it hasn't killed anyone else. Like it's threatened to.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, motivations are not clear.
Well, go help him, you bitch! The actress that plays the nun, and I don't remember her name, she has been the guest at a few conventions.
Sure.
I've seen her in person. That's her real nose.
Okay.
Like, she is a very distinct looking woman.
Okay. Yeah.
And I don't know, like, she's creepy.
Okay.
The Marquis of Snakes. Like, that's a Vince McMahon if there ever was. I condemn you to hell.
See, that was the basic. That was the demon that they had supposedly showing up earlier in the film.
Well,
and minimized it to here.
The fact that they even showed it here implies that it's a real thing.
Right.
So
Sure.
that's bad.
They just meant, so they just kind of lessen it overall in that regard. So
yeah, but now the nun isn't even the nun, and we've still
right. That's the point.
We've still created another layer.
It's a like I said, it's a little overpacked. It's a little overcomplicated.
I'll call an ambulance. Yes, sir. You do that. You finally do something in this movie instead of just standing around.
The layers are just a little overly complex. Got this one demon haunting these two different things under the guise of something else. And even in Enfield, it's behind yet another thing.
That is using two other things as conduits.
It was a pyramid scheme.
Oh, shit. Meanwhile, I defeat you by telling you your name that you told me. That you told me.
Like Superman hands over the green kryptonite to Lex Luthor and tells me, "This is going to kill me, but don't use it just yet."
I need you to wait 2 hours and 10 minutes. Mr. McFeely.
Yeah. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Did you know, and I didn't know this till recently, at least I didn't remember it, that McFeely was his wife's, like, maiden name.
Okay.
And so, I'm pretty sure I have that right. And so, Mr. McFeely was, like, a nod to, like, his father-in-law or whatever.
Sure, okay.
Fred Rogers was a goddamn saint.
Sure, yes.
No, don't do that. like, you kind of thought that was going to happen in the kitchen scene.
Yeah.
Because he, like, holds it up and then puts it back over his own head.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, good. Don't give that away. So, I don't buy that he would give it to her now.
After all the bad shit's happened.
Right. Like, this thing has kept me safe. So, I feel comfortable giving it to you now because, A, it's all just a ruse, and it's the power of belief, because it's not actually true. But I can't say that, so, like, it's either true or it's not true.
Sure, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, God. That right there is religion in a nutshell. I kind of want to watch this docuseries. I wish I had Apple.
Apparently on the docuseries, they do recreation, but they use all the original audio recordings.
Okay.
So they're just kind of visualizing what's already been actually recorded back in the day. So I think that's a nice way of going about it.
And she died in the same spot?
Mm-hmm.
That's real?
I'm guessing so. I don't know for certain.
That seems a little... I want to know the story about this squirrel here on the bottom right.
Taxidermy.
Yeah, make sure we put it right next to the one from the last movie.
Yes.
And let's get Annabelle in the background.
Yeah, we gotta, because we gotta and crank out more of them films.
Again, I kind of like the idea, like I said in the last one.
The archive.
Right, where we just go back and tell the story of all these, and they're all independent. They don't have to be related.
Yeah.
Like, you could literally, make anthology movies until these people are dead.
Yeah. Grabbing something real quick.
All right. You do you. I'm going to watch them dance in the living room.
Because the third film actually has a comic book tie-in.
A comic book tie-in.
That has a bunch of tales from the archive stories in the back of it.
Nick is holding this graphic novel.
So this is a prequel story to the third film. And then they have a bunch of backup.
A prequel story to the third film. So that's after 2, but before 3?
It's not with the Warrens. It's setting up the events of the victims of the third film.
Got it.
But they have a bunch of anthological stories at the back of it that I will read before we get to that one.
All right. Directed by James Wan.
Read the main story, but I didn't read the rest of it. But anyway.
Anytime that you have 4 people on the screenplay,
it's a bit much.
That's one for each villain.
Cook in the kitchen.
Oh God, that mom. They really made her look pretty in this movie, didn't they? They made those two look pretty also. Like,
they glammed everyone up.
I am interested in this.
The kids they nailed pretty well.
Yeah. I'm interested in this documentary.
Okay.
That looks...
on YouTube, there's the old BBC one you can look up as well.
These are actual photos from the...
Yeah. And then the comparisons between the casting and the reality.
Right. Vera's like 20 years younger.
Oh, yeah. And the mother, not at all.
There he is. Yeah. Look at him.
Like a mirror image.
The real lady there looked like a real bitch. Yeah, if those are actual photographs from
they got them pretty on the money.
The Zootrope gimmick. God damn, I love that. Yeah, it's hard to tell if these are...
Yeah, some of them I could tell, well, that's Patrick Wilson, so that's from the film. Other
Right.
ones, they're kind of mixing back and forth to blend the realities.
Yeah, that's not good.
It should just been all the historical photographs, I feel.
Yeah, like pick a lane, dude.
Yeah.
God damn.
So, I mean, for me, it just feels like a lot of a movie.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
big. It's a bit. It's a loud movie. There's a lot of like a big, loud sound design too. There's a lot of crashing and banging and a lot of storms and all that type of stuff happening. It's going really, really
There's
huge.
Kate Cook and Shannon Kook. Sorry. Yeah, they're... When you actually... Like, when I first watched this, I was...
Oh, yeah. I saw it in the theater. I was thought it was just as scary as the first film, but you go back to it and look at it a little bit more.
Right, you really start breaking it down, and I don't know. There's too many layers.
Yeah.
The logic for the ending is, it's not like Elm Street where you say, all I have to do is turn my back on it and I take away its power.
Yeah.
Because that actually has...
If I overcome my fear of it, it has no more power over me.
Correct.
Yeah.
Like, that's a very sensible, logical reasoning.
Yeah.
But, like, me saying your name giving me power over you.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's some kind of lore and demonology stuff, but
Right, but is it also
you
in
don't
the
have to do that.
Is it also in the lore and demonology that the demon tells you the name,
Right.
that then gives you the power over it?
Right. It's
Like, and really that circular logic is the basis of this entire movie.
yeah.
And so when you have that thin of ice, that house of cards that everything is standing on,
Yeah. It's the weird thing of both. It's overworked but underdeveloped. The characters are well developed, but the concepts is not as much. They're not thoroughly thought through and woven organically throughout every piece of the emotional storytelling.
Right. Yeah, I was going to compare it to M. Night Shyamalan, but that's not true, because
No.
M. Night Shyamalan has really good ideas, really good execution, and really bad endings.
Yeah. You see more of his stuff than I have, so I'm just
And
I'm just
like,
going off of kind of osmosis in that regard.
The Sixth Sense is good. It's really good. But, like, once you know the gimmick, it kind of...
that's my problem with that.
You kind of, like, it's less than.
Yeah.
Like, it's not as rewatchable, I guess is
Right.
my point.
Right.
But then you get other movies of his, like The Village, which I think is one of the worst movies I've seen, because the ending, which I won't spoil for you,
Sure, I am aware of it, but for
Like,
the listeners.
it kind of undoes everything that you've been invested in the whole time.
It's just being a gotcha ending instead of like,
Right.
oh, okay. type of
Right.
ending.
Yeah. Right. It's not an understanding ending. It's a gotcha. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
And the gotcha doesn't make sense. Like, it's a gotcha for gotcha's sake.
Yeah, that's the worst. You're just throwing it in there just to get a shock out of the audience.
Right.
Or something like that. It's not like it pieces anything together.
And I really feel like all M. Night Shyamalan movies are like that. Now, one that I really like and is underrated is Lady in the Water.
Okay.
I believe Paul Giamatti's in it.
Yeah.
And that one, I don't remember it very
he's
well.
a treasure.
I don't remember it very well, but when I saw it in the theater, I went in with a preconceived notion of not going to like it because it's him, Shyamalan, and I came out going, that's how you do it. So, if you're going to pick one, Shyamalan, Lady in the Water.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Until next month.
Until next month, guys. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.
See ya.